Okay, now here we have big guys. I mean, Black Red Reanimate against Show and Tell. It's like just putting something big into play and
Yes.
see what happens.
Yes.
That's a little bit the game, and it feels like um, Blue Red has a little bit more interaction. I mean, some disruption and counters, and Black Red has just a, probably unmask. I think, yeah. We
Yes.
see one in his hand.
Yes. But funnily enough, it's not. It's not a blue red. It's actually Shadow and Tell. I've never seen this deck. I think.
Oh,
Um,
Shadow and Tell.
I don't. So
It's that Shadow.
I assume it's going to be Death Shadows in the deck, and I saw Thoughtseize glimpsing there, and I don't know if it's a mixture between Fair and Combo, something. We will find out. And
Okay, okay. It
um,
makes strange to me
yeah,
because I don't see the. It's like for an Italian pizza in pineapple. I would say this is like a cheap card with something that lets you play. Maybe it's just the name that is wrong. I don't know. I don't know. We will.
possibly maybe it's another card for the Tell, but and it's not actual Show and Tell, but maybe
It's
something different.
oh maybe he
I don't know.
tells something after playing Shadow. I don't know. We will see the list now. And let's see. That Shadow Delver Street Rate Urban. No, it's a Dead Shadow deck.
It's just straight up Shadow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a normal Dead Shadow deck. That's kind of the deck that Dario Vicedomini broke last year for the finals of this tournament.
True.
And yeah, it's the classic with double reanimate. The only thing that I see that is not classic in this list is the 2 Tuturach in the main deck. Normally, when they play them a lot in the sideboard a lot of times.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm quite familiar with this deck list.
Yes, me too.
And the
Very good.
Reanimate deck is also kind of okay. He's playing black red Reanimate, yeah, just for the looting. That makes sense. It's not
It's
mono
a really
black.
stuck list. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the classic black
Yeah.
red
Only one
Reanimate.
Thoughtseizes, which surprises me a bit, and the Elishnar main,
Yeah,
probably against TNT.
yeah. Looking at the interaction, it has 3 Cabal Therapy, um, 1 Toxizer for Unmask.
Yeah.
This is the interaction from the Reanimate deck.
And the Chancellor to some degree.
Yeah,
Chancellor of Gen X. Which I don't know if it was revealed, but it is discarded together with the Grizzlebrand on turn 1 here for our Reanimator.
did Leonhard show the I think so. Or did he had it already in his hand, or he drew it with
I
a...
missed it, I don't know, but we will find out in a minute. Here, there's a Death Shadow turn 1, which gets countered, so yeah, he revealed it, obviously. And then just a passing of the turn. Usually a very good matchup, combo matchups in general for Shadow and Tau, because they have a very fast clock, they have discard and counter
Sure.
spells. But here his hand doesn't seem all that great. And
I think it's more like Leonhard had a broken hand also.
yeah, but that's what the deck does, no? Like,
Sure, but having the draw 2, discard 2, having a piece of interaction with your opponent hand, and having a reanimate, if he has all of this, and one of the
yeah,
cards
it's the
is
nuts.
Chancellor,
Yeah,
this is like the perfect
this
draw.
is the
It's not
nuts.
like what
I
he
do
does.
agree.
It's
I do
if he
agree.
has the reanimate in his hand, I mean.
I do agree. If he has it, we will see
Yeah.
it in a minute now. Let's see what he takes.
Because I was thinking, yeah, I agree, but at the same time, Chancellor, what can your opponent do?
There's those I know there's those seven cards
Yeah.
for maybe even only 6 is enough.
Yes.
Sometimes for the Black Red Reanimator, which just are almost unbeatable.
Yeah. Let's see if he has a reanimate or something to reanimate, an exhume or a reanimate.
Does he play Animate Dead as well?
Yes,
Yes, he does.
4.
Yeah, it just plays straight up.
It's 12.
12.
Yes.
It's just super linear strategy from this.
He has nothing to reanimate, it seems.
No. Was hoping to hit it off the Faceless Looting, probably. Just passing off the turn. Wow, this is really good for the Shadow player.
It is good, and I think that he drew the dates, and I think it's really good to have the dates, because now he will play into Turach, I think. No?
I'm
No.
just gonna thought these first.
Oh. I don't like this play at all.
No, I would have. Because what do you want to discard?
He has no reanimate cards
Yeah, yeah.
because he would have played them. This way, you want to discard more cards than
Yeah.
possible because your opponent has to play land looting. This way, you give him less choices.
I fully agree. Also, in terms of mana efficiency, the
Yeah.
turn wasn't ideal through that. So let's see, another faceless looting. It's a good draw.
And drawing the days makes it more so because your opponent will have one card in his hand, will draw another card, will play the land, will play the faithless looting, your dates, the faithless looting, and you should be in a good position also because I think he has still that shadow in his hand. Yeah.
He's at 15 currently, so he can play
Yeah.
it. He can go to 12, which lets him.
He can play it.
I don't know. He can.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, no, I know, but
No, he is better that he doesn't play it. The first one was played.
encountered,
Yeah.
luckily. Yeah, there's this funny story about a vintage tournament and someone asking a judge, it was actually Jonas Walter, the other commentator, if he could needle tendrils, and his answer, yes, you can. It was a bit different, and it was in Swiss
Yeah,
German.
that's
And
always
he
the-
did it,
the
and then he
answer,
found out
unfortunately.
you can do it, but it doesn't help anything. It's quite amazing.
I'm thinking if the play to play that shadow into Chancellor. Okay, I think what happened was Leonhard revealed more than one Chancellor
That's possible.
because I don't know, but because I would not have casted that shadow on turn one if I had the option to just go top size and pay one more
I
mana for
agree.
the first
You're
Chancellor.
completely right. Maybe it was even all the three. I don't know. Or probably not. But it
But
makes
at
sense
least
that it was
two, I think,
that
yeah.
it was two. Yeah, I do agree. I do agree. And the Death Shadow is coming down as a 4/4. He doesn't have any protection up, I think. So
Yeah, that's not. The protection is not for the dead shadow, but for you
for you. And
as
there's
a
an Exhume.
human being.
Yeah.
Exhume is
Jeez.
there. Exhume will
We'll get back a Grizzlrand and the Shadow.
and draw 7 cards, I would say.
Yes, even
He goes
14.
to 7.
Yeah, the difference between the blue-red and the blue-black lists, clearly that once they have a Grizzlrand with the blue-red, they go off, they reanimate two more things. Usually, is he playing, what is he playing? Grizzlrands to reanimate, Elishnorn, and Chancellors,
There
nothing
is
else.
no Yona. Okay, I think one of the best things for him is just to take an Ashen Rider now.
He doesn't have one.
Yes.
He has?
Yes.
Ah,
He's
sorry.
playing Ashen
Okay,
Rider.
sorry, it wasn't very top. Weird. Yep. Ashen Raider, Cabal Therapy, sack it, and then kill both Death Shadows
Yes.
probably, and then just swing in for lethal on the next turn. Draws another 7. Should find a ritual and some paddles, and then just go and
Yeah, now
seal
he
the
needs
deal.
Entomb, ritual Entomb, and something.
Yeah.
And he should be fine.
Let's see. He's
Oh,
playing
he could
white.
still play the land. Yeah, he is playing green and white for the sideboard. For Reverent Silence with a green. And white
For
is
Serenity.
for Serenity.
Yes. Which is a good card. Cleans all the hate, but it's dangerous because you have to pass the turn. But that's for sideboarding. Let's see if he actually you would think he could play quite straight up from this point, but apparently the situation is not that clear. I mean, he can't reanimate anymore right now, so he has to have enough mana to.
He has a ritual. He has. I think he has just one ritual. That's a little bit the main problem.
Right, but there is a pedal. There's a ritual.
Yeah,
Okay.
Petal Ritual. He can just go. He can play if he has Entomb. Oh, he will discard it on himself.
Okay, discuss the Elishnorn.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Wait,
Animates it.
I don't understand. Okay, now I understand.
Second animate that for the.
I would have played Entomb, to be honest. There is the Ashen Rider still.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, 100%. Well, it was enough anyways, but.
Yeah, I agree, but if you.
It would have been safer.
Yeah, probably it makes no difference, I think. But at the same time, I feel like just looking at my opponent hand with Cabal Therapy, and he could have just gone Ritual, reanimated the Ashen Rider, discard 2 cards from your hand.
Yes.
And if he wanted, he could also just take out one Dead Shadow and one land, just to.
Yeah, because there would have been lines with like a Dismember to shrink the Grizzlebrand.
Yeah.
And then his shadows get huge. They're then like 9/9.
Yeah, but then he had still, you could Yeah, it's really hard that he can get out of this.
Sure, but there were options. I'm just
Yeah,
saying, like there were like brainstorm into something.
he has
Could
one
one of them be?
dismember. He could go, yeah, that's
Dismember
why
snuff out, and
I
then
would look at his hand,
yeah,
take out all the
yeah,
cards, and
agree, fully agree. All right, then for sideboarding, we have the Reanimate player, as said, Reverent Silences against
uh,
enchantments, which were probably
I
not
don't know what
coming in.
this card is. Do you know?
Archetype of Endurance is a green creature, 6/5, like costs like 7 mana and gives all your creatures hexproof.
Okay,
So against Death Taxes or just Caraxes in general
okay,
and spot removal.
because it's not a legendary creature.
No, and it has hexproof itself.
Oh,
It
okay,
is
okay, okay,
unlegendary,
okay.
yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. I think he will sideboard in.
Red Blast, maybe? No, not sure.
Mm,
Magus could be good, actually.
I think,
Magus could be good.
yeah, Magus can be good. He has still a Swamp in the deck.
He played. Oh wow, he's playing a swamp.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, yes. They
he went
play
off.
one Swamp.
All right.
Yeah. He is playing just one Underground Sea. A lot of lists play two.
Yes,
Da, da, da.
and he is playing no Stubborn as main, right? Is he?
Nope, zero. I think he was playing the Him to Rush instead of the Stubborn.
Okay, yeah, true.
Um, Looking at the list, I think Magus, you're right, because if Magus isn't play, the only way to take it out, if Marcel is tapped, is Dismember,
Yeah,
or
you
no,
need a swamp.
without
You need a swamp
with
for snuff out.
yeah, or the Swamp for Snuff out, and he cannot use Fatal Push if
Yeah,
he was tapped out because the fetch will not fetch, and yeah, I think that's the only way. I think in the sideboard he will bring in probably Surgical, Stubborn, I think Flusterstorm, Gravedigger Cage. It's a lot of stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Flusterstorm,
that's
even
the
if he.
cards
Yeah,
I would
Stubborn
say.
Denial for sure as well. I would say.
Yeah, Stubborn, Fluster, Cage,
Yeah.
and not Triumph because I think
You don't
it's
like.
not a good way to
No, you don't
interact
want to
with a
handle the threats
Griselbrand.
on the board. You want to handle them not getting on the
No,
board, I think. And it should be a good map. I mean, you even have he has Reanimate in the main deck already. So like in the game before, if he had his Reanimate, he could have just gotten his
it
own
was GG.
Griselbrand.
Yeah,
It would have been. I love this play. I love this play.
yeah, it's one of the great things. It's kind of better than reanimating your street rate.
Yes,
Just kind of
it's
better.
it's slightly better.
Slightly better.
Turns on immediately your Death Shadows as well. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. It's perfect. And you have lifelink. This way you can turn down your Death Shadow
Yes,
after. That's
yes, yeah.
perfect.
It's super flexible. It's super flexible card. Right. Yeah, and then Magus Red Elemental Blast for the Black Red Reanimate. Maybe the Xantid Swarm. I could see that. Two Xantid Swarms.
I would not. Because your opponent is interested. I don't know
You
how.
saw him and thought he's true.
Exactly. Yeah, he has him and Toxis. It's. I think you just to go. It's another of this kind of decks that you have to go like straightforward
Yeah,
and see what happens. I
yeah,
mean,
I agree.
yeah.
And you're up game, so you can like you can mulligan aggressively. You have to
I
mulligan
think one
aggressively
of
with
the
this deck.
strategy that has this kind of deck has is hope. Hope is
Yeah.
a good thing.
Yes.
I think one of you bring it in for the sideboard and hope that all goes well
Yes.
and see what happens.
Yes. Yeah, because I think Shadow should be favored actually, especially post board. But
I think on the play for sure.
right, yeah.
On the draw he has playing like him to Turach, Toxize and so on. He has few cards like he has just Force of Will as
Mm,
interaction,
mm.
and that's not
He doesn't have any force of
Force
negations.
negation. Yeah, that's kind of strange to me.
Yeah, because I'd love like in Legacy in those blue decks, especially if you're aggressive with Delver and so on, that you can just bring in two more Force of Wills against Storm, against Chalices on
Yeah,
turn one, etc.
I think it's a crazy good addition. Also because of the problem that we just spoke about, the fact that game one, I mean that's is in game two, and in game two we have already like in this matchup we have already also the surgical extractions
Hmm.
that are kind of doing this kind of work
Yes.
as free counter spells,
Yes.
but negation is really good at playing this kind of game where. Um, you are not in time for playing.
Yeah.
It's crazy to say, oh, I'm not in time to play my talk size.
Yeah.
But it happens kind of a good amount of
100%.
time.
If you hit the good, like if you hit the thought he's written in hand and he just goes off, it's kind of awful. And it, like it's always card disadvantage. We talked about this before as well with the forces in general and
Yeah.
boarding them out against blue decks, etc. But sometimes you just being able to tap out and then still interact with your opponent by countering something is just so valuable in a fast
That's
format.
insane. That all the counter spell, all this force of will and force of negation are insane
Yeah.
cards, insane cards. But the problem is this is a kind of card that you have to support with winning fast, or having a good engine that makes card advantage.
I agree.
Because
Yeah.
if you don't have this, it is like the matchups where it is bad to have cards like this. It's again like mid-range decks
Yeah.
where you have to counter so many different cards that you are doing a 2-for-1 and you are doing his job. But if you go with like Jason Mind Sculptor, go and
Yeah.
have Force of Will up,
Yeah.
this is like the
Yeah.
moment where you feel so good about Magic and the world.
Exactly, you get the cards all back. Yeah, yeah. Or like in the ninja deck we saw, he plays 6 forces main, and the plan is to protect his ninjas to then just draw
Yeah.
4 cards a turn or something, and then get back up in cards. All
Yeah,
right.
the only problem with the ninjas is that if he uses his with force of negation is with creatures is if the player with the removals plays it in the correct turn,
Yeah.
he will get it away pretty easy. I
Yeah.
mean, if you use the bolt in his turn instead of in your turn, you can kill the creatures because Swallows of Negation is not playable in your turn.
Yes.
Or better, yeah, it's playable for 3 mana.
Yeah, 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 but not for free. I agree. All right. Game 2 underway.
Yes, there is a Street Rate, and he loses 2 life to draw a card. They are using the Watery Graves. If you are not familiar with Dead Shadow decks, Watery Graves and Dead and Street Rates and so on, just because you don't want to have 20 lives in Magic. That's too much.
Yeah.
You need like less than 13, because then you can play your Dead Shadow. That's the name of the deck. That is a big creature and it will do much work.
Yes.
And that's why you play less Underground Sea than Water Graves.
Exactly.
Okay, now Marcel has a hand with Daze and Reanimate. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And Leonhard kept a hand without lands.
Yes.
That's also pretty interesting.
Yes. He does have a pedal, and I think now he's debating whether to discard or to
Try.
cast a pedal and try to go for it.
Yeah, one of the ideas of Reanimator decks is sometimes to just to go to 8 cards and discard the creature this way you can reanimate it. Yeah, like
Yeah.
he's doing like this. But now there is a Reanimate.
Oh, that's so
The
amazing.
Reanimator
I
deck
love this play.
has a Griselbrand now. Oh no, it's not the Reanimator deck. It's the Dead Shadow deck has a Griselbrand.
Maybe that's why it should be Shadow and Griselbrand or something.
Yeah, it's not Shadow and Tell. It's Shadow and Big Grizzle Daddy.
Yeah.
That's the combination.
Yeah, I agree. But he's got, well, yeah,
I think his lives cannot be 13.
no,
That's
he's
one
5.
of the things.
It's the dice. The dice is correct.
Okay,
Sometimes it
5.
takes a bit to update.
5 and the talk says, right? Or he
Yes,
already
he's gonna go down to 3 now.
Okay.
Yeah, thoughts he's still resolving, and he cannot draw cards of the Griselbrand, unfortunately. But he will be able to next turn to draw his Death Shadow and then cast it.
Yeah, that works. That works.
Oh, beautiful. I mean, his hand is not busted, so if
I think in Legacy, in this moment, like Dead Shadow is not one of the main decks. They are not playing a lot of Dead Shadows around, I saw.
no,
But it's like maybe the most tempo deck that you can
yes,
see in Legacy at the moment.
I think
Because
so.
with Dreadhorde Arcanist in the Delver lists,
Yeah.
that can be like a deck that makes card advantage and
Yeah.
goes for the late game. This is not a deck that goes for the late game.
Not at all.
This
Not
is
at all.
all in, and let's see what happens also. But with a little bit more of protection. It's a deck that I like. It's pretty technical, I think.
Yeah, I played it a lot online. I like it a lot. It's super powerful. I think it's really super
Yeah.
powerful. The only deck maybe coming close is Rock Delver, but they're more on the disruption plan a lot more on the disruption plan than Death Shadow on the power plan.
Yeah.
With Ren and 6 especially now.
Yeah, the Brand 6 and Westland is interesting.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
the limited sayer
interesting.
in you would say boring, but
I agree. Yeah, it's not something I think it's great.
people don't want to play Magic at Legacy. That's the point. I think they just want to do it quick and dirty, and then go and have a beer or something.
It works. It works. It's
Yeah.
one of the plans.
Yeah.
It's one of the plans. You know.
Right.
We are looking at the black-red reanimator. He wants to go for the beers. I think. You know,
Yes.
it's something really quick. I
Yes,
mean.
super. Well, Thoughtseize himself didn't get it off, was dazed, and that was it.
We saw 2 times Griselbrand winning the game.
Yeah. One on each side.
One on each side.
Owned by the same player, but one on each side.
Oh, that's the show and tell. You can
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
one, I can have
maybe,
one,
yeah.
something like this, right?
Maybe he has also shown talent on the sideboard. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah,
No,
to,
he
to
doesn't.
help
We
the
know it. We actually know
reanimator
it.
deck,
No, yeah.
to help out a little
Oh,
bit.
come on, this matchup's so bad for you. And he brought in the Xanthid Swarms, by the way. I was wondering, and we thought it wouldn't be a good idea, but he brought them in. Also against 4 Wastelands, which I think he does play, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yes. You
I
don't
still think
wanna
it's
fetch
really
for-
bad to
Yeah,
have the Xanthid Worm in the deck.
Yeah. Although he probably brings that older removal. I mean, that's quite neat.
Yeah, the removal, but then you are playing. I feel it's too slow.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts. I think you're playing against the 4 Force of Will with the Xanthid Swarm,
Yes.
and at the same time, you are making your deck slower.
Yes, I agree.
The 2 things that are you're not playing against his deck, but he has no deck list. That's the main thing. We have a deck list in front of us. It's
Yes.
easier this way. If he knew about now, I forgot, he has also Flusterstorm and Stubborn Denial. This makes a little bit more sense, I
Yes.
would say. And it's not great against dates, but it's great against the 6 cards. Maybe it's enough to make it reasonable.
It's also against Surgical. Like I would bring it in, maybe in the blank, or like without knowing the deck list,
Yeah.
obviously. I would expect Force of Negation though too. That's why.
I agree. I agree with you that in the blank, I would also expect to have Force of Negation in the sideboard or main deck, and having Stubborn Denial, as you said.
Yep.
Yeah, he has the Imp to rush, but I would if I would think about a shadow deck, it would be with Denial, with the negations, and probably a Flusterstorm in the
Yep.
sideboard. This way, I agree with you. It's kind of easy to take them out in. It's like 10 cards. That's the big difference. Here, I'm not sure about it because it's really good against 6 cards.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
And against a normal deck list, I think it's 10.
Yeah.
And that's a huge difference. It's
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, and I'm surprised he doesn't play the Stop Denials. I have been
Yes.
amazed by Stop Denials in this deck.
I think it's great.
It's such a good card. But
Me and my friend, we built the decks to play this tournament for him.
Okay.
The same guy that played last year, but at the end he decided to try the Rug Delver deck he's playing. But we have also this deck list build, and it is built like exactly like this deck list, but he is not playing him to Turok, he is playing Stubborn Denial.
Right.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's also not like in a Wasteland format. That does seem a bit stupid to say greedy to play him to Tureks because you only need 2 black, but still, like, you don't want to. Yeah.
I think him to Turok is a good card, but it's better in certain matchups than others.
Yeah.
And I feel like Stubborn Denial is just good against all the
Yep.
decks. I mean,
Yeah. There's so much non-creature stuff going.
Yeah.
Maybe not against Death and Texas, although you want to counter with the Sword Supply.
Sword of Blushers is still.
One of the very, very weaknesses of Death Shadow.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
Swords 1, kill 2.
Yeah,
It's really-
that's the saddest part.
That's
Like,
really-
oh, I
that's-
play my 2 dead shadow. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, Sword of Blushers,
Yeah.
one of them. And then on Magical 9, the first time you look at your board and you say,
What
why?
happened?
Why is the other one not there?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
oh, I gained so much life, so he dies. Yeah, it's pretty annoying. I think it's the main reason why we don't see as much shadow in Legacy
Yeah.
as in Modern. If there was only a path to exile in Legacy. All right, kicking things off with a faithless looting here, Leonhard Badenberg. Let's see if he has all the pieces he needs. I don't believe he revealed the Chancellor. Didn't get a look at Marcel's hand at all.
Chancellor is such a good card, and if you have it first hand, it's just so relevant in
Right.
Legacy.
Yeah.
Okay, he has Force of Will and he has Surgical, and he can play both.
And he's gonna play Surgical.
And that's all the only index.
Uh,
I think this is a turn one win for Marcel.
wow, and he has the Xanted Swarm in hand. So, but if you board it in, shouldn't you have the patience to wait
Maybe he drew it with
with the looting?
a looting. If you board it in, you have to have the patience. I don't know. I mean, I can see it, but you know, you're saying
I mean, now the card is dead. Look, okay, it's not dead, but it's almost dead.
you're like saying I want to play against the Force of Will and try to win this turn and not and dodge the toke sizes. I think
Okay,
because
that's true.
that's what you are
Yeah,
trying to
that's true.
say. It is true that there are more cards, denial cards, than toke size,
Yeah,
but at the same time, it can be a free win.
that's true.
Now it's a free loss.
That's true. It's really a free loss. And like by saying that, it's also the first time I see the Xanted Swarm in the sideboard of a Reanimator deck. Usually you see it in Storm.
Yeah.
There it makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah, now you don't see it in Storm anymore, kind of.
Yeah, because
You
there's
can
Veil of
see it,
Summer.
but Veil of Summer
It's a pretty good card.
is
Yeah, I
a
agree.
really good card.
That was a thought before. Why wouldn't he play
Yeah.
Veil of Summer then instead of Xanted Swarm? But I think it doesn't prevent Surgical, does Veil of Summer? It only gives you permanence in yourself hexproof. It doesn't give your cards in the graveyard also hexproof.
Surgical targets,
Surgical targets, yeah.
the player,
No, the card in the
the
graveyard.
card. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
But I don't think it works, yeah. All right, and there's a clock.
Normally, Twitch chat knows. You know.
Yeah, Twitch chat
That,
knows a lot.
that's the things. We are commentators. Twitch not knows things.
Yes, the good old chat.
I just got there, but what's the Shadow and Tell? It's a Shadow deck with a strange name.
Yeah,
Now it's
they even
Shadow.
changed
Now
it.
it's
They even
Shadow.
changed it to Shadow, so it's
Now it's
okay.
Shadow.
Maybe like sometimes people just give their decks names, and although they don't play anything differently, yeah, that's fine. Ooh, I thought he's off the Delver. Beautiful. Street Dive Force.
Pression, Tuck size, Disruption. He had them all.
Yeah,
I feel like, as I said before, I felt it was over after the Surgical,
yeah, I agree.
but now
It's officially
clearly over. I mean,
I don't think there's any way to get out of
no.
this. It's gonna ponder, the next turn there's an angler, and the clock's gonna increase, and he'll kill him in 2 turns.
Clock, Pression. Nothing to do for you, Leonhard. You tried hard, but
Yep. You know any of the players?
nope,
Okay.
I don't know them.
Yeah, but he's gonna play it until the very end. Have to if you or believe. You have to hope.
Yeah,
as you said, it's probably good.
yeah, I'm not really good with hope, you know. I would not play like Red Reanimator, or better, I would play a League of Magic Online that's lasts 1 hour, and I'm fine with it
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the rest of my life. Anyways, that's how I do with decks like this. I would not bring it to a tournament because that's not my kind of deck.
Right.
I'm not all in. I don't like to go all in.
Yeah, you're more controlish, or just.
I try to have
rangy.
edges, and
Yeah.
I feel like Reanimator has not a lot of edges on
Nope.
your opponents.
No. Yep, second Delver coming down. He's gonna fetch because he knows it's not flipping probably.
I like Delver.
You
I
like
mean,
Delver?
I like Delver. I uh,
The
we are
flavor, the
friends.
car.
I don't know.
Really? Ah, okay.
No, because it was a GP in limited, uh, and I had like 5 Delvers in my deck.
Right.
Yeah,
So
and
Innistrad
yeah, it was
limited.
Innistrad. I had 7 creatures in my deck, and the other cards were spells.
Hmm.
It was a GP in Milano.
How many lands did you play? Like
It was
16 or?
16 lands,
Yeah. Okay.
something like that.
Cool.
Uh, the deck was insanely good, and it was funny because I took a Delver over a Mentor of the Meek. That
Wow.
is a
Yeah.
2/2 that draws cards. That is really good
Yeah.
because in the first pack you had to show the flip card,
Right.
and 5 people
Yeah.
showed a Delver, and I was like, okay, I will do it.
Nice.
And I forced the
Nice.
thing.
Nice.
And just like slamming my Delver,
Yeah.
like boom.
I never played Delver Unlimited. No.
Innistrad was great limited.
Yes, I can imagine. I can imagine.
We're talking about these things because
Well, he's gonna
it's
unmask, but at that point you should scoop it up as well. Well, they're having fun, I guess.
yeah,
So that's
it
cool.
was just
GG.